morning and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. I'm Gerald Morrow and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Tuesday Morning Profit Break. Thank you for joining us. The Tuesday Morning Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce cost, enrich yourself, your team, and your business. Welcome to our new viewers and welcome back to those of you joining us again. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day. We have another great show ready to share with you, so grab your coffee or your favorite morning beverage and let's get started improving your profitability. Today, Bart Berger is back with us for our second segment on talent acquisition. He's going to spend some time today talking about, if not the most important pressing issue, certainly one of the top issues facing all of us today, and that's staffing. As we're on the road to recovery, there is no shortage of help wanted signs in all of our communities. Bart, thanks for joining us today. And so we talked a little bit in episode 1 to get started on this whole talent acquisition and attract. So where do we go from there?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Good morning. Great to be with you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our second of our three-part series on this topic of talent acquisition. It is absolutely the number one issue facing us as all small business operators, but especially those of us in the bowling industry, the out-of-home entertainment industry there. So let's get started talking about the next layer in this pyramid that we talked about. So last week, or in our first episode, we laid the foundation with the idea of attract. Remember, if we're going to change our behavior, we need to act. We're going to attract, choose, train, and retain. We spent our last episode really laying the foundation of the why we're in the current position that we are. So if you haven't seen the first episode, I'd encourage you to go back, take a look at that, because it really lays the foundation of the why. And we also, remember, we wanted to start thinking like a marketer, right? We want to be as aggressive about finding a pool of candidates to talk to as we are about building our business that we do every day there. And real quick, before we get started with the choose, I just want to share with you that I did get an outreach, a call from one of our member centers that actually is in the process of building a new location. And they, like many of you, were struggling on how to find team members for this new build. They put some of these practices into place. They started to use the digital assets and the resources of things we shared with you last week. And they were so excited that while their problems aren't gone, they now have a pool of people to talk to. And that's really where we are today. Because once we have that pool of folks to talk to, the next layer of the pyramid is choose, which we say choose to represent our interviewing and selection process. So now that we put all those things into practice, we've got this group of people to choose from, whether you're going to try to hire 2 people or 12 people or staff up a new facility with multiple people. You know, what do we do next? And I want to share with you the secret to choosing the right talent. And it really is very simple to understand, and that is hire for attitude, train for skill. We have a saying here at the campus, it's not easy, but it is simple. It's really simple to understand. It's not easy to execute, and we're going to spend some time talking about that. And that is in our business, this experience business, out-of-home entertainment business, bowling industry, food service industry, we truly need to hire for attitude, train for skill. And here's why. I can teach you to make a drink. I can teach you to make the food product. I can even teach you about bowling, to hand out lanes and understand some of those mechanics. I can't teach you to be nice. I can't teach you to smile. I can't teach you to have a great attitude. Only you control that. And one of the things that you learn in life, you learn this as being a parent, and you learn this in the business world is I can't change your attitude, no matter how hard I try. I can change your behavior, but I can't change your attitude. Now look, there are certain jobs absolutely that you have to have a skill level. In our world, it's all about the experience, and we can teach people how to deliver that experience. So just if nothing else from today you take away, focus on hiring for attitude, train for skill. Gone are the days that you can demand that people have experience and you have candidates to choose from, and you're going to pick the person that has the best skill level. I want the person that has the best attitude. Okay, so let's share a little bit about some of the selection methods. I'll go through a few quickly here this morning, and I'll start kind of with the worst, and then we'll work up to what I hope you will start embracing, and that is the best. And the absolute worst method: do you breathe? How often, and if so, for how long? And I'm only kind of half joking when I say that. And what I mean by this representation is what most of us, the trap we fall into now is, I've got to fill the spot immediately. I only have one candidate to choose from, and they don't look like they're going to steal too much, and they look kind of honest. But look, honesty is, if I don't put them in that spot, I'm going to have to fill that shift. And that's desperation, and that's what we want to get out of. So when you don't have candidates to choose from, you have no other choice but to just take the candidate that you have, and it's a crapshoot, and it's not a very good outcome. The next interviewing technique that some use is a single interview, short and experience focused. Again, not what we recommend. If I was fortunate enough to be a possible candidate for your team, who would I talk to? Would I talk to just the owner, or the manager, or the department supervisor? So if you currently are just doing single interviews, meaning that a candidate like myself would only speak with one person, and they are short and they really focus just on my skill level, then I would encourage you not to go there. The next level up is what we talk about, a single interview, still only interviewing with one member on your team. But now, instead of focusing on the skill, we're getting into the behaviors. It's a behavioral interview, starting to focus on that attitude, wanting to know about you and what makes you tick and what things you enjoy and how you would respond in certain situations. Not if you know how to mix drinks or make a hamburger, or if you have any bowling experience. So these are interview techniques that we don't recommend, but we're getting closer. So here's where we'd like to go. What I really want to encourage you to think about is this idea of multiple behavioral interviews. When I say multiple, that's not several people in your organization talking to a candidate, one candidate all at the same time. That's a tribunal, and it's not very fun. You don't want to do that. When I talk about multiple interviews, what I mean is that if I was a candidate for your business, I might talk to 2 or 3 people in that organization. I might interview with the owner, I might interview with a manager, and I might interview with a peer as well. So speaking with multiple people, and again, focusing on the behavior, your attitude, how you're going to respond in certain situations. Now, here's the beauty and why I love multiple behavioral interviews, especially multiple interviews, is because if I'm a candidate and I'm speaking with you as the owner, I can pretty much say what you want to hear. But the magic is, if I speak to a peer that I might be working with, for whatever reason, I'm at a different comfort level, and I'll certainly say things that otherwise I might not. You'd be shocked at what people will say to somebody that they regard as a peer versus what they might say to someone that they regard as an authoritative figure. That's the magic of it, is not what they say to me as an owner or manager, but what they say to that peer. So multiple behavioral interviews is really where we want to get you to. Now, if you really want to get someplace special, I'm going to touch briefly on this topic of group interviewing. Now, group interviewing used to be something that was really reserved for new builds, when we were hiring large numbers of people, when we were opening up new centers and we need 75, 100, 150 people. But progressive proprietors and progressive operators have figured out how to use group interviewing when they're hiring just 2 or more candidates. And what we're doing here is bringing in, because remember, we got a lot of people to choose from now. We put what we've learned in this attract to work, and we're attracting we are the employer of choice. And let's say, for example, that you want to hire 6 people for open various positions, and you have 12 candidates to choose from. I'm going to bring in all 12 at the same time for a group interview, and it's magic, and here's the dynamics. And I'll go over a couple of things with you quickly here. The pre-screens allow me to weed out the total mismatch. So let's say that of my 12 candidate examples, 10 of them meet my initial criteria, and 2 I just weed out. The length of this group interview really gives us some depth of information. We've got multiple managers and peers that gives increased input. We've got real-life situations that are behavioral, both in a formal and an informal setting. And we've got some resources for you in the online course and also on the website that can be role plays, it can be certain situations. And the team that are conducting the interviews, we can really review the following with no guesswork at all. We start to look at things at teamwork, leadership, energy, body language, things that help me know your attitude and not necessarily your skill level on there. And that's the magic of it. I love this. I would encourage you to get there. So fun is our business. And if for you, maybe the group interview thing is not something you're ready to jump into, at a minimum, don't ever hire somebody with just a single interview, right? It's a recipe for disaster and high turnover. Start at the beginning with multiple interviews and involve a peer where you can. That's magic, Gerald. So when you can start to involve those peers, it just really gets a whole different level of conversation there. But I love the group interview if you're ready to take that leap of faith.
Awesome. Yeah, that group interview definitely seems like the way to go. When you're talking about multiple interviews and behavioral interviews, what would be, I guess, an ideal number? I mean, is it just, do I have to bring this person back multiple times, or can we do multiple with different people? Kind of walk through that, what you mean by that.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I kind of went through that quickly. So when I talk about multiple interviews, look, anything's better than one. And I would like to do them all at the same time because there are a lot of people out in the market. It's very competitive. A lot of people hiring, as we know. So you don't want to wait. So if for me, I like 3. And you might, in your operation, you may say, the owner says, I have to talk to that person before I hire anyone, and that's okay, or a manager. So I think 2 to 3 people is the right number to talk to, and I think they should all do it in the same setting. So you don't want to bring them back 2 or 3 times because there's 4 other jobs waiting for them. So I want to have them interview with those 2 or 3 people all at the same time. I can knock that out in a very short time frame if I'm not going to do the group interview, and it allows me quickly to have yourself, me, and a peer talk to a possible candidate, and we can make a decision very quickly.
Awesome. Awesome. So when we're talking about going that extra level and we start talking about group interviews, what would be, I mean, for some of us, we're like, how do I conduct it? What kind of activities do I do? Do I do role play? What would be if you said, hey, this is the one that is my go-to for a group interview? What would be that exercise?
Yeah, that's an easy one for me because there's one that I love. But before I answer that, let me tell you that, again, there are a lot of great resources on the online course that I know you'll mention, that we provide some role play scenarios for you, some different things. I've even heard of people that the kids today doing videos of their role play, which is cool. But for me, I'm old school. I can absolutely tell your attitude in 20 to 30 minutes watching you bowl. All I need to do is take those 8 or 10 people, we sell fun. Put them down there on the bowling lane, see how they interact with strangers, see how someone helps someone that might not know how to put their name in, see how somebody interacts with somebody when they bowl well. Do they high five? Or are they sitting off in the corner by themselves and standoffish? Doesn't make them a bad person. They could be a wonderful person, but they're probably not the right person for my team. They don't have the attitude that I want because fun is our business. So while I don't want to lessen the importance of talking to them, for me, I absolutely know whether or not I want to hire somebody, watching them bowl with a group for 20 minutes.
So there you have it. The secret to success there as far as the group interviews, just put them out there on the lanes and let them bowl.
Every time for me.
Every time. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here today, Bart, and sharing that with us on this road to recovery. So I'd like to remind all of you that if you'd like more information or have team members that would benefit from understanding this topic, we have a great 30-minute course that Bart mentioned as part of our on-demand online training program at bowlinguniversity.net. As we wrap up another edition of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break, remember, when you focus on growing people, people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next week at 10:15 Eastern when we'll continue our conversation on talent acquisition for our 3rd and final episode to help all of you in this current labor market. You don't want to miss it. If you have any questions about today's show or would like additional information, you can reach us at any time at education@bpaa.com. Also, you and your team can watch any of our previous episodes 24/7 by visiting bowlinguniversity.net. Until then, I'm Gerald Morrow, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. See you next week.